You're muted, Joe.
All right. Hey, want to make sure everyone is there that you expected to be there. And then also if there's a theme as you begin actually get guys on the field for your second training camp, is there a motto, a slogan, a theme? What is year 2 all about in the messaging?
Well, to your first question, yeah, everyone's here. As far as a motto or theme, I think, safety is probably the first word that comes to mind. Just trying to make this place as safe as possible. I think decision-making comes to mind, and sacrifice, and, a lot of the things you talk about from a football standpoint, I think they apply in a couple areas or in a lot of areas. On the field, off the field, I would say safety is first. That's the kind of the first that comes to mind for me.
Beasley?
Kind of piggybacking on Joe's question, when the 80 some odd players did show up, were they in the kind of shape that you had expected them to be in?
Well, the first week's been good. The acclimation period, that the league and the PA agreed to. And I think it kind of shows how important the offseason is. Just from a rep standpoint on the field, but also from a strength and conditioning standpoint. I think guys are in okay shape. We've got a long way to go, but they're working. They're working pretty diligently, and I've seen already some improvement over the first week, and I'm sure that they'll continue to improve. But the off season is obviously very important, and I think the players, they understand that too. Which is why they asked for this, or the league and the PA agreed to the acclimation period.
Cam Wolf?
Hey, Flo, we saw last night it got announced that Doug Peterson got COVID. I wanted to ask you, if God forbid you or someone on your staff got it, do you guys have a plan for how you would go about it and maybe replacing you or, an important member on your staff?
Yeah, I heard about that with Doug, and my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. I hope he gets, he's back and he's feeling better and better, work as quickly as possible. But to your question, yeah, we talked about this in the spring. Everyone's got a backup. Everyone's got 2 backups. It's something we've talked about. We've got we're taking the same approach we take with the players. If I go down, we're doing this. If D-line coach goes down, we're doing this, and so on and so forth. So it's something we talked about, but it's not just in the coaches and coaching the player staff. It's our strength and conditioning coach, our head trainer, our head equipment guy, our nutritionist. So you have to have a plan for everyone, especially in times like these.
We'll go to Armando.
Hi, Flo. I was wondering what the team's vision is for Josh Rosen. Has that changed from the time that he was acquired? And has he or his representation at any point?
You cut out there, Armando, at the end. So his team or his representation.
It looks like he froze. We'll have to wait for him to come back. We'll go to Omar.
I want to ask you about the defensive line. Obviously, there was a massive makeover in terms of what you guys added in the free agents, Lawson and Ogba, and also the draft picks. What was the intention and what was the hope to be achieved?
Well, we want to bring in good players, guys who fit the criteria we're looking for: tough, smart, talented, able to communicate. And I think we feel good about the guys we acquired, but at the same time, it takes time for a defensive line to gel. So we need to hit the practice field. We need to get together in meetings and talk through calls, communication, scheme, where guys fit the best, what specific role is best for each individual player. So that's what training camp's about. So we got a long way to go. There was a makeover, to a degree, but we got a long way to go. And
I think Armando's back. We'll go back to Armando.
Sorry, my question blew up the internet. I'm wondering, Flo, what the team's vision is for Josh Rosen. Has that been changed or adjusted since you acquired him last year? And has he or his representation asked for a release or a trade at any point?
the vision for Josh is the same vision for every player. Come in. It's a new offense. There's new teammates. So learn the playbook, get to know your teammates, work hard in practice, try to improve every day, take advantage of your opportunities, take advantage of your reps, and let your play on the field. What you do on the field will at the end of the day, we'll know if you'll earn your reps on the field based on how you play in practice. So that hasn't changed for Josh or anyone else on the roster.
Dave Hyde. Dave, I think you're muted.
Board has a different rule. Okay, Brian, sorry about that. With no off season and no preseason and a lot of new players and new coaches, new offense, what adjustments do you plan to make or have made as far as either things like simplifying the playbook to or other things, adjustments you expect in this odd year?
David, it is an odd year. It's a different year, but like I said last week when I talked to you guys, these are the cards we've been dealt. So we got to play this hand, and there are going to be some obstacles, but I think we've got to make the best of the situation. I think as coaches, as a coaching staff, we understand that. So we have a plan in place. So we put a lot of thought into trying to build a competitive team, in a short period of time. What that entails, I'm not going to get into right now, or what we felt like it entails, I'm not going to get into that right now. But we put a lot of thought into that, really in all areas. Strength and conditioning phase, which we're in right now, to the walkthroughs, which we're also in. When we start to kind of ramp it up in the phase 2 and OTA days, and then finally when we get the pads, we try to put a schedule in place that we're building throughout the course of that, and hopefully we're ready to play when the season starts. But we are taking the one day at a time approach. That's things are changing on a daily basis.
Go to Hal.
Hi, Brian. Going back a little bit to what you said about the coaching staff having backups, I'm wondering how much you guys are always preparing for contingencies and having players work at different positions. But given what's going on with the pandemic, how much, if at all, do you plan to ramp up that versatility aspect and have guys work at places where they might not normally work?
You talking about players, or you talking about the coaches?
Players.
I think it's built into the the versatility and the scheme. It's built into what we do offensively, defensively in the kicking game. So a player may be this this position in this group and this position in another group. So I don't think that changes. I think that remains the same for our team, and I imagine that's the way it is on a lot of teams. So we still need guys who are multiple. We still need guys who can play multiple positions, and I think that's even more important this year, in a year where we don't know. You could lose a 1, 2, 3 a group of guys. We're going to need other guys to step in. So Um, you know, tackles were playing guards were playing centers. Defensive tackles who end up, kicking out the defensive end. Corners playing safeties playing corner. I mean, I think you can't get all of that practice. I'm not saying that, but the guys we feel are flexible enough and smart enough to handle those different positions. We'll try to introduce those positions and those schemes to them. In small increments, I would say.
We got time for a couple more. Safid.
Flo, how you doing? We got Ryan Fitzpatrick's view of Tua on Saturday. I wanted to ask you of your impressions of Tua since he's entered the building. We know you've seen him a little bit before training camp, but his personality, has it been a fit in the building inside the organization? How's he look physically? How has that hip responded as strength and conditioning has begun?
Tua and the entire rookie group they're doing well. I mean, I feel like to speak about one and not speak about the entire group is, they're all really working hard. I think we've got a pretty solid group. They work hard. They've worked hard this first week. They're into it. They're picking up the schemes offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. But again, it's a walkthrough. So as far as anything past their height, weight, and speed, we're not really seeing them move and change directions. Really sprint. We're really not seeing that from anyone in the group, to include Tua. So I think they're all doing a good job. We've got a long way to go, and as we practice starts to ramp up, and we're more into the phase 2, the OTA, and the actual practice, then we really get an evaluation. Right now, in a walkthrough setting, we're not really seeing all that much, I would say.
Last question, Adam Beasley.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Preston Williams. The fact that he wasn't on PUP was obviously encouraging. How has he looked in his rehab, and what do you envision his role being in 2020?
Well, he's worked extremely hard since the injury. Worked his way back to where he was cleared for activity. Again, it's walkthrough right now, so he's the strength and conditioning in the morning, so he's running, he's lifting, and then we see him in a walkthrough setting. But again, for Preston, it's a new offense, so learning the terminology, the depths on some routes and things of that nature that are a little bit different than they were a year ago. That's kind of where his focus is right now. But he's worked extremely hard, as all of our guys have, from a rehab standpoint. And look, we just got to take this thing one day at a time. That should be his approach, and every player on our team's approach. And just try to get better on a daily basis. I mean, I continue. You guys probably sick of hearing me say that, but it's something that I try to preach to these guys every day. Let's just try to get better. Let's try to improve. Let's be safe. Let's make smart decisions.